Hello, my crafty junk journaling friends. How are you doing today? I'm so excited to show you my progress on the lemon journal that I talked about I was going to be working on next. So yeah, I made a lot of progress. So today I'm going to show you. Welcome. I'm Sheree, and thank you for joining me today. So this one was going to be a fabric cover, like I mentioned before in my last video, I guess it was. And so as you can see, I used this pretty lemony fabric on the front of the cover. It's a one signature. It's cushy. I use Amazon packaging, and I'll actually show you. Usually I don't have the extra pieces here, but I got some more ready while I was at it. I pulled out a couple of the white ones. I have the brown ones too, but they're not as crinkly, which I love them too. Don't get me wrong. I love them too because they have a special feel and sound all on their own, but I wanted a more crinkly one. So I used the blue and white bubble packages that you get from Amazon. And I went ahead, I pulled two of them out, like I said, and I cut them down to the size I like to use for these type of covers. So these are all ready to go now. So super excited. I have basically 3 more journal cover bases there. And so, yeah, that's what's inside here. And the blue and white part I put on the inside, and the white part. See, if you're making one, you kind of have to pay attention to this because, if you don't care, it doesn't matter. But I wanted to make, do the best I could to not see that. Or, sometimes I've put batting or something to cover that up. But I really wanted to just be able to leave it so you would get the most out of the crinkly, bubble packaging. And see, the other side is basically white. You can see through it here, but when you put fabric over it, you can't really see this side. Let's see how the others look. Yeah, they all look about the same, or they all look the same. They're all about the same. They all should be the same thickness. So anyway, I cut all those down and used one side of one package because out of one package you can get 2 covers, right? So anyway, you can see I put a little bit of fabric here on the spine. It's the same kind of almost like upholstery or maybe curtain fabric. I really don't know because I got it at a thrift store, but it's a thicker fabric. And I used it on the fruity journal too. And I still had some here. I thought, oh, that would be perfect with the green that is in this. And plus it, makes the spine even sturdier. I mean, it was fabric, so it would have been fine, but I felt like I needed something, and it was just the perfect touch. It's sewn around with yellow thread. You can see my tie closures here. I've got a pretty ribbon, a grosgrain ribbon with yellow with white polka dots. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it is so far. I don't have I thought we'd sew in the pages today, but let me show you the inside of the cover. So I used this. I had that package, which I showed you when I was going to make the lemon journal, and it turned into a fruity journal. I showed you all of the fabric. So I use these 2 pieces here because this has black in it, and I don't know, I just thought it looked really cool to open up, and you see the fruit here in the black fabric. Here's the other 2 that I haven't used yet. This lemon one here and this lemon one here. And then the ones I've used, let's see. This one I haven't used yet. Oh, yes, I did. There was 5 fabrics in there, so you can see I used that one. I used this one on the front cover, so I have some left. I have enough left to make another journal out of it. I only used like half the fabric on the cover of this one. That's 4, and this was the 5th one here, which I used for pockets in here. So you can see fabric pockets. Okay, so that's all sewn together with that nice cushy bubble packaging inside. Here are the pages. I haven't sewn them in yet, so I thought we'd sew them in together, and then maybe if we have time we can do a little decorating with trim, and I can show you some pieces that I picked out for the front that could be put on here as a centerpiece for the front, as a decoration for the front cover. So I'll show you those in a second, but I want to sew these pages in. So I just want to go through here and make sure they are where they want them, or they are where I want them. they are where they want to be, whatever. But yeah, I had a lot of fun picking out the papers here. And I'll do a little show and tell of the papers in a second. Let me just get them situated so we can get them sewn in. But I had a lot of fun. I went through some cookbooks, some ideals magazines, some things like that to pick out the pages, besides the regular pages that I do, scrapbook papers, and then I have some vintagey papers in here. Okay, so they look like they're all good. I did some sewing on the pockets, like right here and inside you'll see. So a little bit of sewing, as much as I could do so far. I'm just grabbing a tissue as usual. So now I'm going to sew these in, and as long as this goes smoothly, I will stay on camera. If it doesn't go smoothly, I will pause and finish up the sewing of the pages. But there's 15 papers in here, I believe. I counted 15 papers folded in half. That is 30 pages, or 60 surfaces, if you know what I mean, like 1, 2, that's a surface, that's a surface. So that's what I mean by surfaces. So there's really a lot of room in these single signature journals, and they can puff out pretty quickly. So that's why I don't do over 15. I was going to do less in here actually, and I just kept on finding papers, fun and pretty papers I wanted to put in here. So I was like, okay, let's put all these in here, and I ended up with 15. Okay, so that looks good. Now let me go ahead and actually I needed to clip this to the cover on it's I'm used to doing different types of journals, and on a journal where you have multiple signatures, you do it like I was just doing it, where you just have the signature clipped. But on a single signature, you clip it to the cover. Everything stays in place while you're sewing, and hopefully I might grab a couple more paper clips here because it's trying to move around on me. Yeah, let me put another couple of paper clips here and get it really solid as far as not moving around and me having the best chance of not having any problems while sewing it in. Okay, so everything's inside my cover, top to bottom, side to side. It's right in the crease where I want this cover to fold. As you can see, it's all nice and even here. The two edges come together. I did even sew in the ribbon, goes all the way through the cover. So it's glued in between the fabric pieces, and it's sewn around. When I sewed around, I had it all together, and so it's sewn and glued, very nice and sturdy. So let's, I think I'm going to do, I've shown you my different, but on the single signatures where I usually show it, my how I sew in pages. You could do a 3 signature pamphlet stitch on here, and it probably would be fine. It would be fine. But I don't know, for something's telling me to do a 5 pamphlet stitch on here. This, I cut these, and I eyeball this. I just figure out where I think the middle is, and then poke a hole through and try to get it right on the fold, not off to the side. So that's what I'm doing. I'm pulling it back out, and I want to make sure it's right in the middle of the fold. Okay, that looks right. I just want to make sure. And then I forget what I'm saying now. Oh, something about the packaging. Oh, I was going to tell you the size of this journal, but we'll measure it in a second. Okay, so I've got one hole in the middle. Let's go up here. I like to do about a good inch down, because you see how my cover is a little bit over the top of the pages and a little bit over the bottom of the pages. So when you do an inch down from the top of the cover, it's not really an inch down on the pages. You know what I mean? It's less than an inch. So that's why I say a good inch, like go down. And if you want to, you can use your inch from the top of the pages, like, let's do that this time. because I always end up going from the top of the cover, and I'm like, oh, I wish it was a little, it doesn't matter. Either way, it's going to be sturdy and it's going to be fine. I just always thinking, why didn't I go down a little bit more? You know what I mean? So now I'm thinking about it. If you think about it, that looks like an inch from the top of the papers. So now again, I'm going to try to get this. This is pretty thick. I've got some thick papers in here, and I've got several layers on this cover, if you think about it, from the Amazon packaging up and around. I've got the Amazon packaging, 2 layers of fabric on the cover, and the spine fabric, which is a thick fabric. So it's a lot to go through. All right, so that looks good. And then I've got a little string here. The bottom, then I'll do the bottom hole. So up from the paper, a good inch. And you can do it further up. Like I've seen people just do it right, like it's like right in there, their whole stitching, like a 3 pamphlet stitch, right, just way in the middle. I like to make sure it's all together. I don't know, I just feel like it's sturdy if you just do it like this, an inch from the top, inch from the bottom. Get one in the middle, and you can adjust too if it's, especially if you have fabric on your spine. You can adjust your holes if you think it's not, once you punched them. You can't adjust on the inside, but you can adjust on the outside if it's fabric. And if we have to adjust, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, now I'm going to do one in the middle here. And through the bottom, I have the pockets too, so that's another layer of fabric I had to go through there on the bottom one. Oh no, I have it, well, I don't know if it went, I have a little triangle too. I don't know if I actually had to go through the fabric there on the bottom, but if I did, it was 5 layers. So, yeah. Okay, now these look good as far as being right where I want them so far, but we shall see. When you actually get the string in there sometime, or whatever you're binding your journal with, sometimes it looks a little crooked, and then you can adjust. If it's fabric on the outside, you can adjust the holes on the outside a bit, not a whole lot. Let me tell you, not a whole lot, but I'll show you what I'm talking about if we have to adjust. Okay, now I've got embroidery floss. I'm using embroidery floss this time because I wanted the green. I don't have any green wax cord, so I'm using this. And I have this needle that I had in with my embroidery floss. Apparently I've used this before with my embroidery floss, and it has a nice big eye there, so sometimes, yeah, it went right through there. That's why I have it in there, because it works well with thicker. And that's what I always use anyway. Just this one's a little shorter. I have one that's a little bit longer that I use normally, but this one was in there, so I said, let me try this. So we're going to go ahead and go through our first hole here. And I may need to grab my little pliers. And especially, this is a little shorter, so it's a little harder to grab. Let me grab my little pliers. If the needle is slippery, if it's slipping on your fingers, or makes your fingers hurt too much, or whatever, you can use your little pliers and just push it through with those and pull it through. Let's see if it looks straight. Yeah. See, on camera it's going to be a little harder for me because I'm trying to show you guys, and so I'm going to be a little bit more picky on what I'm doing here. And it doesn't mean I'm not picky off camera. It just means that, it's just, you're just more, afraid you're going to make a mistake or something, I guess, when you're on camera. So I have three links, or a generous 3 links, I should say. So I have plenty of thread here. So there's my tail. You can tape it down with washi tape, because washi tape is usually removable, but just be careful that you don't, you know, tear your whatever you have in the middle of your signature, your paper, with whatever tape if you use, if you tape it down, or you can like paper clip this down. I just let it hang. So let's go through our next hole. So I can see my next, sometimes you can't see your next hole, but I think I can see it there, and it looks like it's going to be, see, I kind of do this, and there's my hole right, I think it's right about there. I think it's right there, if I'm seeing right. And so if it is there, this is going to be nice and straight. In fact, I can see this hole too. This one might need to be adjusted a little bit. So we'll see when we get there. But I want this string to be straight. I don't want it to go off to this side or anything like that. So let's see how we do. Even when we get it in there, if it's not straight, if I don't think it's straight, then I will, again, I will adjust. Okay, so now let's see if it's going to come through this hole easily or it's going to give us a hard time. And this is what I was saying. If it really gives me a hard time, I'm going to pause and just do it off video, because I like to get it right and I don't want to be like fumbling around. You guys probably don't want to see me fumbling around. I mean, if you do, let me know. But I don't think you do. So I would just like, okay, so I repunched my hole there. Not repunched it, but I just went through it again so I could see where it is, and so my needle will go through. At this point, make sure you didn't pull your tail through there. That's what I do. That's what I do. That's how I do it. Let me get this little out of the way. Okay, now we'll see if it goes through. I will say, I don't know why you wouldn't think it would be harder, but the 5 pamphlet stitch, I don't know if I've ever done it on video, because it is a little harder. I mean, for one thing, you're doing 2 more holes, so the less holes the better, right? The less holes the better. And a lot of times it does get caught on the corner here, so you gotta loosen that. Okay, let's see if it looks straight. This is what I always do. I was like, do I like that? Is it straight enough for me? Is it straight? Is it straight enough for me? Or, you know, whoever, you know. So that looks nice and straight. There is a line here, so it's kind of like going along that line. So if it's not on that line, if it's going off the line, I'm going to be not happy. And this little hole is not over here, so I think I'm going to have to punch a new hole there. As I see my how my string is going, I can see that it's not going to be, I'm not going to be happy with it. So let me show you what I'm going to do. So my hole is right here. So I'm not going to punch a new hole over here. I'm going to go through the same hole. There's some string. My awl here is picking up some string from the fabric here. So I'm going to, I see where the hole is, and it's not where I want it. So I'm going to work with this a little bit. I can feel it under there. Okay. Now I want it over here. So there's my awl coming through. See, it was right there, and now there's my awl coming through. So I think this one I will be happy with. Now let me show you. We'll go through here. So far so good. I'm going to go up and down and kind of just make the hole big enough so my needle will go through there. This is a very small awl, and that's what I like. I don't want my hole to be too big, but I also need to make it big enough for my needle to go through, if that makes sense. All right, so I'm trying to hold this together so it's all, yeah, see, it went right through the new hole. So let's see how we do. Happen to be able to pull that one through with my fingers, so I'm going to tighten it up. So I'm pulling the inside tail and the outside where I have it, so it's all nice and tight. Now I'm going to look and see, when I go back down here, is it going to be straight? Yes, it is. So my original hole, what happens to it? It kind of disappears, or you can make it disappear if you have fabric. Like mine already, I'm trying to see if I can see it anymore. Fabric, you know, it has the, especially this one here that I have, this is like perfect as far as, but this one will too, cotton. But This one, I can't even really see the hole anymore, but if you're worried about it, just do something like this, and it kind of pushes it back together, pushes the different, threads that your fabric is made out of. It kind of makes them go back together, and boom, it is back together. I mean, I've taken out of my clothing, I've taken, if you've ever taken a, what do you call it? When it makes a little line and you kind of pull a thread and it makes your separation of your clothing go back together. I can't think of what that's called. I guess it's just like a little pull in your fabric, and you can fix that. And so through that experience, I think I've, figured out how to fix things in fabric. I don't know. I hope that makes sense to people out there. So anyway, now we have to go back through this hole here. So this is where sometimes it gets a little hard going back through and getting it in the right spot. So this is where I might have to pause. Try to make sure your thread's not coming out here. These little things are getting in my way, but it is what it is. Okay, so I've got it where I want it, I think there, but let's see if it's going to come out through the hole here. Probably not. It never is that easy. Okay. Oh, is it coming through? Oh, it did. Look at that. Right through. I can't believe it. We'll see if it continues to be that easy, if it works out here. All right, and let me pull this one. Looking good, looking straight. Okay. Now we got to go back through the middle, back out the middle. This is why this one's so strong for maybe a longer book. And like this is right at the verge of being long, maybe too long, maybe not too long. Like you could have done either one, or I could have done either one on this journal. I just, for some reason, something told me to do a 5 pamphlet. So let's see now. I am not coming out in the right space here. So I've got to find where it goes through into the right hole, or the right at the end of this thread is where I want it to come out. Let's see, it's a little bit over. Let me try it one more time. There we go. I think it's in the right spot now. Yeah. All right. I think we're good there. Yep. That looks good. Now, see, I go through the same thing on the bottom. Let's get my my tail got wrapped around there. I don't want it to be in the wrong place. So there's my tail. Okay. At this point, your tail is not going to come out, or it shouldn't once you're going to the bottom. Okay, so let's see. This looks like my bottom hole. I think my next hole might be in a good spot. I mean, I did try to make them in a good spot, so I'm going to go ahead, and I think I'm having a hard time seeing it, so I'm going to go ahead and poke through here again and try to find I think it's right there. And actually I might adjust a little bit because I think it's a little bit inside that line, and I want it to be right on the outside of that line, the hole from on this side. So about, yeah, right there should be good. Let me see. Yep, that should be better than the first one. If the first one wasn't there, I'm not even sure. So again, like I'm not making a new hole on the other side where the paper is. That wouldn't work. You'd have, it would be crazy on the other side. But I'm kind of just making sure where the hole is on this side. And I don't think I even made a new hole because I can't even see the other hole if I did have another hole. Okay, again, I'm going to make sure my string is not coming out of my needle. Kind of gets a little loose there. I mean, it is loose, so it kind of pulls out a little bit sometimes. It has come out. If it comes out, of course, you just put it back on. No big deal. Just a little bit of a pain in the neck, right? Okay, so there it is. Now let me see if I'm happy with it on the other side. Yeah, it looks straight. It's going down straight. That's what I like. I am happy. Now we're going to go back through the bottom hole, or not back through, but through. Let's see where it comes out, because it looked like it was in the right spot. So I'm not trying to, it is coming right out there. So it's kind of giving me a little bit of a hard time pulling it through there. So let's use my pliers to make it easier on myself. There we go. Now we're going to go back through this hole. So we need to make sure that's in the right spot on this side, where I got it in the right hole. But here, let's see if it can come right through. Or, oh, it did. That always surprises me, right? Wow, it actually, see there, my needle came off my, but at this point I'm done anyway. Well, I'm kind of done. I'll show you. At this point, I go through the little string here, the next string up, go through there. See, so you got one string here, the original string, and your string that you just brought up. Pull that tight. You can make sure. See, I've been kind of tightening it all along the way. So just make sure it looks, everything looks like what you want it. If it's not tight enough, like this seems to be loose here now. So if I have to pause and get this straight, we'll see. But this seems to be loose right here. So let me see what I can do to tighten that up. Probably need to pull on, yeah, I just needed to pull on this string here, the next one that came down, but then I got to tighten up the whole thing. So let me see, can I just pull on this one? Nope, I got to pull on this one. Let's see, so now that one's tight. Now I got to pull this in and pull this up. Okay, and now everything is tight. Let me, before I put the string in there again and loosen it up, make sure it's tight enough for me. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the outside, make sure that's tight enough. Let's see if I'm happy with that. Nice and straight. Everything's tight. You don't want to loosen it up, but you can kind of gently feel it. Make sure it's tight enough for you. You don't want to pull on it though and make it loose. Then you just have to tighten it up and go through that process, that kind of cycle of tightening everything up again. Okay. Trying to keep this together so it doesn't unravel. Now I don't want to loosen this up, so I'm just going to, I don't know if I loosened it up before or what, but I'm trying to get this string together so it all goes through there in one fell swoop. There we go. Okay, I think we're good. I did not loosen it up. All right, we are good. See, it's not, before when I did this kind of loosened up for some reason. I'm not sure what I did. But it's all tight now. I'm happy. So I can make my knot. Just make sure you're happy. If you use embroidery floss, I don't know. I guess you could get it untied if you needed to, but it would be harder. Wax thread is easier to untie if you did something wrong at this point and you wanted to untie it. It's easy to untie. You can kind of get your little pokey tool in there and loosen it up. But this would be quite, and I pulled it pretty tight, so it would be a little bit quite harder to cut off my extra there. There we go. So I'll be putting some charms or something in the middle here, so I'm not going to do anything right now. But if you weren't putting any charms or anything on your middle, if you use embroidery floss, I tie a little knot in the end so it doesn't come undone, you know, because embroidery floss is made out of several threads and it will come unwound. So I tie a little knot in the end so it doesn't come unwound if I don't put anything on there, but I will be putting something on there. I keep trying to wipe off this straw here. There's a straw that looks like a thread, but it's a straw. So let me show you, let's take off our paper clips. Be careful if you have something on your page when you take off your paper clips. I don't have anything there, so I'm okay. But here we go. Let me show you it tied. I just have to show you. It's so cute. And I'll show you what I have before we open up and I show you the pages. It's not a flip through. We're not done. I'm going to put some trim on here. And that might have to be a video. I mean, separate video because this one's probably getting kind of long. I didn't realize it would take me so long to do that. But there's a cute little art tie closure. And it's attached. It's not going anywhere. So what I picked out for the front are a few things, or a couple things, really, only a couple. So what I think I'm going to do is, I'm not going to put it here but I'm going to send it along. So if the person that gets this doesn't want anything on the front, then maybe they want it just like this, you know what I mean? It's perfectly beautiful just like this. But, oh, I have 3 things. Okay, yeah, that's right. So, well, if you're thinking you want this journal, you can tell me which one to send along. Or if you just want to vote, you can vote in the comments and let me know which one, you think should go on the front. So here's one. It's a lemonade stand. Let's celebrate lemonade. And it says lemonade right there. So this could go here. It is big, so it takes up a lot of space, but it's super cute. And, if you want it, you want it. If you don't want it, if you think it's too big, you don't, let me know. I would put it on my journal, especially if it was the only thing I had. I would put it there. I think it's super cute. It does cover up a lot of the lemons, though, but you have plenty of lemons on the back and on the inside and things like that. So then the next one is, I rounded the corners. If you didn't, I guess you noticed that. I was going to mention it, but I didn't say anything. So this is another one. This has a lot of yellow, which goes with the yellow lemons. Everything is fine when there is sunshine. And I like the yellow on here. So that could go on here. Just glue it. I would just glue it down with some Fabri-Tac really good. Put it out to the edges. Make sure it doesn't ooze out. If you get this journal and you've never glued anything on fabric before, I would use Fabri-Tac and just make sure you don't put it near to the edge, but not too close so it doesn't ooze out. You don't want to get glue all over everything, but I think that one's cute too. I like the yellow. Yellow's what some people don't like yellow. I understand, which is not comprehensible to me because I love yellow. I love even yellow houses. When I see a yellow house, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's so pretty. My house is not yellow, but I love yellow houses. Everything is fine when there's sunshine. So there's that one. And as you can see, the difference in size. That one, a little bit smaller, and a little bit smaller. Hello, sunshine. And that is adorable too. I like them all. So I think I'm going to send, unless somebody says I want this journal and I would like the whatever, the lemonade stand. I'm going to send one of these because I want to make some more lemon journals. So I want to save the others for, because I don't have any more of these little pieces. So I want to save the others for other lemon journals. I can make at least 2 more. I could probably make more than that if I wanted to, but I probably won't because I don't think y'all want more than that. But anyway, so I'm going to send one along with this journal. So if you think you want this journal, let me know, or just let me know which one you like the best, and that will help me decide if which one in the end I'll put in the goodie pack or in a pocket or something and say, this is what y'all picked out. This was the one that got the most votes for this journal. So hello, sunshine. I'm holding this one up because it's a little smaller, but it looks super cute too. They all look really cute. All right, so that's that story about the outside. Like I said, I think this video is getting long enough probably. So let me show you the pages real quick, and then I'll come back with another video where we're decorating the inside with some trims and things. Maybe decorate the pockets too with some trims and whatever little labels and things. But of course I had to open up with this scrapbook paper here. It's double-sided and it has lemons on it, so I had to open up with that. And then I made a pocket because, it is double-sided scrapbook paper and I could just fold this up. I added this yellow. I had to add some yellow paper in here. And then some vintage papers are in here. So like this here. And this is from the recipe book. It's a recipe. It has lemon juice in it. And it was yellow. And I thought it would look so cute in here. This is some scrapbook paper that just looked like it belonged in here. So I put that in here. It's double-sided too. And some of these I got, some of these scrapbook papers I have in here, I've got at the thrift store. Some of them are new, like this one. This is Echo Park. This one here, I believe. I showed you in the beginning. It was either Echo Park or Cartabella. Some of my vintage papers. Another page that had some lemony things on it. And some summary. Oh, this one had, this has some lemony and some just colors that look like it belonged in here. I'd put another one of these pockets in here that's made with like a plasticky kind of acetate scrapbook paper. I sewed it together with the yellow thread. And on the other side, there was something on the white paper. Like I got these from this is all from the thrift store. And I decided to cover it up with a cut off. So I did the same thing on both sides. So you have a little bit of a lining here. Plus it strengthens the paper because it's papery scrapbook paper. So you've got 2 layers of paper here. And then the acetate scrapbook paper. So you have a nice pocket there. Some music, you know, vintage piano. Some more pretty scrapbook paper here. I really liked this green when I saw it because of the, you know, green and yellow here. So this is from an Ideals magazine, a summary one. So it's got like some poems on it about the sand and summer days. Then another piece of green. This actually has a little bit of a pattern on it. It's not, it looks solid, but it has kind of a textured looking pattern on it. Very light, but pretty with the green again. And then this is from a 1972 cookbook that I have. And it has lemon chiffon cake recipe right there. And another pretty page here with fruit on it. There's, I think, a lemon on the other side. But it's got all the fruit. And then here's this is going to be the center of the journal, but there's a pocket here. And this is where we just did the sewing into the signatures. So here's some lemons here. So yeah, did I want to show you anything else? The other side of the pages, maybe just the lemons. Here's the summer poem, but you can see, yeah, yep, coming along. So I think that's a super fun one signature journal. I was going to tell you the size. Let me tell you, because you know, I cut the prime packages down to Amazon packages down to a certain size to make these the size that I wanted, and what I wanted was 6 inches wide. So that's about what they are. It's ended up being a little under. Now that I have it a little puffy, anyway, it's about 6 inches wide and 8.5 inches tall. Yep. So, yep, looking good. So I hope you enjoyed the progress so far, and stay tuned for some decorating of the pages next. And I'll see you in my next video. Have a great day.